Marcus of Comic Book Hangover, rise.
Yeah, I know. They're not Black Lantern rings. They were all out of them at the comic book shop. So I guess it's time to do a comic book video for this week. I'm not feeling too good. I'm kind of sick. I've got that swine flu thing that everybody's got. Spider-Man number 617. This is the third supervillain of the Gauntlet. This time it's the Rhino. We've already had Electro and the Sandman. And it's not the original Rhino. It's a new and improved, badass, upgraded Rhino 2.0. And he's really determined to ascend above the old Rhino, basically by whooping his ass. And, you know, if you're going to take over an old supervillain like that, there's really no better way to do it than to try to beat him to death with a live horse. And yeah, that's exactly what happens. The new Rhino busts in and he's like, "Don't you know who I am? I'm the Rhino now, bitch. I'm gonna hit you with your own pimp." Joe Kelly must have been laughing to himself while he was writing that panel. That was hilarious. Even if you're not following the Gauntlet, if you like Webhead, you should pick up this issue because it's top-notch Spider-Man. And another book that came out this week was Dark X-Men, number 3 of 5. This issue was a real big treat for me. If you're a fan of Nate Gray, if you're a fan of X-Man, and you really just want to see him kick some ass, pick up this issue. It's really great to just watch him just give the ownage to Norman Osborn and his fake Avengers. That alone made it worth it. It made it worth the $3.99. Dark X-Men, number 3 of 5. If you're a fan of the X-Men, you're a fan of Nate Gray X-Man, pick it up. It's good. This week we also got another issue of Kevin Smith's Batman, Batman the Widening Gyre, number 4 of 6. Something about the pacing of this series is just confusing. I really don't see any of the events in the comic really leading anywhere. The story is about Batman and his new sidekick, and also his new girlfriend. And it's those two storylines, plus a bunch of somewhat interesting side distractions with other characters. I'm really skeptical as to whether any of these things are going to actually tie together into a coherent storyline. Another thing with Widening Gyre is that I really don't know how to feel about the artwork. Sometimes it is so good, and sometimes it just completely misses the mark. The anatomy is off, the faces are inconsistent on the characters. I just don't know how to feel about it. It's either good or it's very awkward and weird. The jury's still out on how I'm going to feel about this series when it's over. We got 2 more issues. We'll see. Also this week we got The Punisher Max, number 3, Kingpin. The reboot of Punisher Max has been really good, and it's actually making me feel better about all the stuff that's going on with Frankencastle with the other version of the Punisher in Marvel Comics. If you're a fan of Steve Dillon's artwork, you should pick up this issue just because it's good to see Steve Dillon drawing the Punisher again. And of course, it's a origin story for the Kingpin. So if you're a fan of that character and you want to see a more gritty, no-holds-barred take on his origin story, you should definitely pick up The Punisher Max. That was it for new comics this week. I'm going to get out of here and I'm going to read some trades that I got. Walking Dead and Preacher. So hopefully you got something good to read. And I will see you next week.
Like Peter Pan, or